bump, baby, and beyond.
Hi everyone, welcome to yet another edition of The Founder's Dream. And on today's episode, we present to you the founder of Uzazi, Nabifo Wamunga. Uzazi is an online marketplace that connects millions of mothers to potential sellers of different products. Yes, join me as we listen to her story. Only on CBM TV. All around, everywhere. Catch the moment.
My name is Nabifo Wamunga. I'm the founder and CEO of UzaziHub.com, which is a marketplace for maternity and baby products. Essentially, we connect parents who are looking for the things that they need from conception to their baby's second birthday with sellers of these products. So from pregnancy to early postpartum, feeding related, clothing, whatever the mother or baby needs during the first 1,000 days, you can find it on UzaziHub.com. I'll start with entrepreneurship in general. I think I've been an entrepreneur before I even knew what the word meant from childhood. I enjoyed the buying and selling at a profit. I grew up in Mombasa, and it used to be very hot, so we'd sell even ice like to the neighbors, and what is called baraf, the flavored ice, when I was, I think, 7, 8 years old. In school, we tried to sell different things. At university, I still tried my hand at that, and to today, where I am as a mom, selling things that other mothers would need. It came from my own personal need. As a mom, or before you become a mom, you think that this area has been solved, and then you're shocked when you, early in your pregnancy, when you realize not only do you not have the information that you need, what should you do, where should you go, where should you start from, but even the actual products and essentials as your belly is growing, as you're getting ready for hospital, you find that it's not a science. It's not like now I'm pregnant, I go here. So from that journey, I realized that there's a gap in the market, and from trying to source everything and realizing it's not possible with the limited resources to have everything, you find out that there are so many other smaller sellers who sell different smaller items along that chain of the first 3 years from conception. So the idea was born, why don't we help to aggregate all these different sellers and also digitize them and put them on one platform, such that when a mom needs these things, she just has one place to go. And a long story short, that's how Uzazi app was born. And Uzazi is a Kiswahili word that means parenthood. Uzazi, as I said, it's a Kiswahili word that means parenthood. And a hub is a place where many things happen. So then you come up with UzaziHub.com. So an online platform where parents can find everything that they need from the moment they consider bringing a new life into this world. So for right now, we are focused on the essentials because those are few and far in between, and each seller does not have the capacity to have everything. So that's what we are focused on. However, we do a lot of content relating to parenthood, the journey as a mother, how to use the products, product unboxing. A lot of moms have never seen some of these products until they actually need them. Until you have to pump, you probably have never seen what a breast pump looks like. So we do content around demystifying a lot of these products, demystifying what it means to be a mom, demystifying what it means to handle a newborn. And then also we create relationships with service providers in the space. So from pediatricians to midwives to gynecologists, we hold live events. All these support the mom in general as she looks for and finds the things that she needs and the information that she needs. So our value proposition really is supporting the mom and walking the journey with her as well as her loved ones. So the people who love and take care of her, they will also come to uzazihub.com to be able to better support her. So that's what we focus on, the mom and her immediate loved ones, friends and family. So my journey began, or I would say my motherhood journey began, really took form during the 4th month of my first pregnancy, when I had a medical emergency and I had to be rushed to hospital, and I had an operation on my uterus while 4 months pregnant. So that is the beginning of uzazihub.com, because it was in that moment, coming from a busy person. I was still practicing as a lawyer at that time, and then also running multiple businesses, and now you're forced to be in one place, just focused on trying to make sure, is my baby going to survive? Am I going to be alive? So in order to now begin to appreciate and understand my situation, I decided to do research and find out more about what it means to be a mother. And it was through my search that I realized the internet right now, as African women, we are not the target audience when it comes to information and products related to motherhood. You'll find a lot of information that focuses primarily on Europeans and Americans. So that was the first gap that I noticed, the lack of information. And as I spent the entire month mostly bedridden, I decided to start shopping, and that's when I realized there's another gap. Where are these products? Where do we find these things? It's a long story, and when you find someone, they deal with one small aspect of what you need. And as my pregnancy grew, I realized there's a lack of community. Most new moms struggle because our people are booked and busy. Our parents had an auntie, an uncle, a relative to help support them, take care of the little ones. But for us, everyone is looking for money. Even the urban poor, they are either in the market or they're in the garden. So they are not there to support. So that's when I realized we lack community. Content is not really there in an African context. And then also product and service providers are few and far in between. And that was the basis from which Uzazi Hub began and grew and refined itself to where we are today. By the time I think I was 5 months, my parents had separated. I'm the third of 3 children. So I grew up in a single mom household, and I saw my mom struggle to make ends meet, to make sure that we all go to school and that we are all taken care of. And it was through that struggle that I learned about hard work and being focused and adding to the family pot, as it were. So even as a young girl, I had an entrepreneurial spirit. I just did not know that that's what the word was. And I think my relatives also found it cute, this little girl trying to sell things here and there. You know, my mom would go to the border, come back with sweets, and then I would resell them. And I think a lot of the early money I got was mostly because I was this cute little kid. I don't think it was from my entrepreneurial prowess. But I enjoyed it, and all through the years, it just kept refining to what it is today. I am fortunate and blessed that I grew up in many different places. My mom traveled a lot, and as a single mom and as the last born, it was a blessing or a blessing and a curse that I got to move with her to a lot of the different places. So because of that, I am well traveled, and that lends itself into the way I carry myself, and I can get along with almost anyone, and I can understand almost any accent and probably imitate some of the accents. And so with that rich background, I went into boarding school quite early as well. So you have to survive, you have to figure it out, you have to be cooperative, you have to, for lack of a better word, know how to relate with your fellow students, with authority. And that boarding school, of course, was a blessing and a curse. Nobody wants to go to boarding school when they are young. But there are certain things that it teaches you and that it shows you. So by the time I reached university, I knew how to carry myself. And I think among my close friends in uni, I was the only one who did not go with a parent for the first orientation weeks and all of that. I studied physics, chemistry, biology at A level, but I came out of university as a lawyer. And today I am not practicing as a lawyer, but I'm more into entrepreneurship, having tried real estate. I owned and ran a restaurant and nightlife event space, to now in the technology sector, supporting fellow mothers to be able to get exactly what they need on their journey. And although every journey is unique, once you become a mom, there are certain things that are very similar, that every mom has to go through, those trying pains of your body is growing, you don't know where to start from, you don't know what to do, your baby is growing, you need to go to office, you need to look good, where do you get these things? So I've tried to chronologically go through the journey of how I ended up in technology focused on motherhood. It started from very young, introduced to hard work, introduced to making money, to now where I am today. Still trying my best to work as hard as I can, and also creating a future for the sellers on our platform. Most of them are mothers as well. So we support them to put food on the table, as well as the actual mothers who buy the products. So we are 360 in that way. Most definitely. in today's world, moms are busy. We can no longer rely on a single income in a family. The mom is working, the wife is working, the husband is working. However, when a child comes into the mix, or when there's pregnancy, one has to take a step back, but they cannot comfortably take a step back. They just have to find a way to balance this new situation as well as still put money on the table. That means you have to work. So that means you don't have enough time to look for what you need and still put food on the table. So the thing that we primarily solve for is convenience for the working mother. She needs to still put food on the table. If I should talk about the parents themselves, they still need to work. They still need to put food on the table. They still need to take time out to go look for the products and services that they need. And that's where Uzazi Hub comes. And then also on the sellers' side, a lot of our sellers are parents themselves who've gone through it, struggled to find some of these products, figured out a way to import, because unfortunately most products in the maternity and baby space are not locally made, or they're making things like porridge, they're making things like maternity clothes. So because she cannot go to work every day and she cannot have somebody in the home to look after her child, she decides to leave the corporate job and start importing products or starts manufacturing things within that space. But now they need an outlet, they need customers. That's where Uzazi comes in. And we support them to continue doing what they are doing from wherever they are. They can work from home because we offer fulfillment. You can bring your products to uzazihub.com, and we have a warehouse and we store them for you and we deal with the logistics. And for you, all you have to do is to focus on the production line of your products. So we are tackling the issue of convenience, firstly, of providing support to both parents and to business owners, and also digitizing, supporting them to be online, because that's where the world is going. You cannot just have a physical shop anymore because nobody has the time to come and look for you. They're just going to Google. So we support you to be easily found, and we also help our sellers to market their products. I think the biggest thing for business owners or entrepreneurs is going from 0 to 1. Going from the idea in your head to actually having a tangible thing. From me lying in the hospital bed, contemplating whether I'm going to survive surgery on my uterus when I'm 4 months pregnant, to today having a physical thing that someone can just type uzazihub.com and something comes and you're sitting in our space. So to go from that thing in your head to the actual physical, that's, I think, one of the hardest challenges, going from 0 to 1. And what I can say from what I have experienced is there's no right path. You have all these different ideas of how to get from nothing to something, but the thing is to keep testing and trying. And some of those tests, or a lot of those tests, will end in tears. But the thing is not to give up, to keep pushing. Today I'm going to go figure out, maybe let me buy maternity dresses. They are the wrong style, they are the wrong class, it doesn't work out. Maybe tomorrow let me go try this other angle. Let me focus on moms in banks. Let me focus on, market mothers. And you just keep trying and testing until you have something tangible. And then once you hit the physical tangible thing, then the next big challenge is going from 1 to 2. From now you have a physical thing, but how do we make it make money? So the journey is never ending. There's always a different obstacle. But the thread that ties everything together is to know that just because your idea is not working out today doesn't mean you have to give up. You just have to keep trying and getting up again and getting up, every time you fall. Or if something works, write it down and say, okay, this is how we are going to be doing this, and just keep changing and never getting tired. I think that's it. So celebrating 2 years officially is a huge milestone. Having over 80 businesses that trust us to sell their products and to deliver their products to other mothers is a huge milestone. We've had so many transactions on the platform. That's another huge milestone. We have slow adaptation to technology and online, but it's happening. So that's a huge milestone. We now have customers who our first interaction is after they have completed a transaction on our website. That is a huge milestone, from walking a customer through the entire process. Click on the product, now go here, now do this, now do that, to now having customers. You just get a notification that a transaction has been completed. That is a huge achievement. It means these people exist. They are looking for solutions that help them to stay where they are doing other things while they can still take care of their needs. So every day we have new and interesting milestones, to getting phone calls from moms who say they saw our content, our YouTube content. I'm an advocate of surviving postpartum depression because I'm a survivor of postpartum depression and I talk about it very openly. So milestones where moms come out and they tell you, I listened to your story, or I listened to this expert that you brought on your platforms, and that's the reason why I'm here, I'm alive today, and so is my baby, So every day is another reason why we wake up with so much excitement to come to Uzazi and do the work that we do, because every single day we are celebrating milestone, big or small. We measure the impact in a variety of ways. Because we are business to business and business to consumer, we look at it from both sides. We look at how the business impacts the consumer, who is either the mother or a friend or family member of the mother buying the product for the mother, getting exactly what they need, to business, how we support other businesses to get customers, how we support them to understand how to use social media to market themselves, how to use our platform, how to use new technologies like having a QR code that they can share on social media and people can buy from them. We measure our impact from our social media handles when we talk about relevant issues in terms of parenting, in terms of being an individual as a mom, going back to work, the struggles of you're not yet who you're supposed to be, but you're no longer who you were as a parent. That identity shift, a lot of new parents are not ready for that. So we measure all these different types of impact in terms of who interacts with us, how they interact with us, and what they gain from interacting with us. And that is the parents, the business owners, the friends and family of the parent. Yes, most definitely. My mom is, as most people will say, their mom is a very inspiring person, or the first person that you learn a lot from from seeing how they carry themselves, from seeing how they make sure that you get what you want, what your child wants. So for me, it was a direct impact, specifically from my mother and from my grandmother, because my mom had to work a lot. My grandmother came and lived with us, and she was also quite enterprising. So watching that and listening to a lot of the stories and the community. You cannot run away from the community where you grow up from. If you grow up in a tough community, either you're going to become tough yourself or you're going to want the soft life. So I grew up in a tough community, and that made me also want to be tough. And for a lot of that time, you see your friends have their dad and their mom, and things seem to be easier for them. So you get out eventually out of that thing of, I wish I also had a mom and a dad, and you realize this is your situation and you have to make the most of it. And then you go about doing that, and my mother has been my biggest fan to date. So she's someone who I can rely on. I have very good close friends and relatives who I can also rely on to share this information. I belong to networks like the National ICT Hub that has other founders. So when you think you're the only one who's suffering and struggling, there are other people who you can speak to. I belong to different business communities. So it's important to surround yourself by people who are going through what you're going through, or who are in the next bracket that you want to arrive at. You want to achieve this big dream. If you want to be a doctor, why don't you know any doctors? If you want to be a successful business person, why don't you know any successful business people? If you want to be a millionaire or a multimillionaire, why don't you have any multimillionaire in your circle who you can even observe, regardless of whether you talk to them or not? So that has been very key for me in surrounding myself by people who I wish to emulate or be like. I was very intentional in choosing the name Uzazi. It's a Kiswahili word, and Kiswahili is one of the largest, if not the largest, indigenous language spoken in Africa. So I see Uzazi on the African stage. I see Uzazi in every major African capital city, supporting mothers and supporting new parents who have to make that tough decision of going back to work, whether they are ready or not, and supporting them with that convenience. I see us growing out of just being a marketplace and being a library for new parents, expectant and new parents, from an African perspective, because that's what's lacking on the global scale. I see us creating content that's African focused, that's mom focused, that takes into consideration things like Ntula, things like that you can only find locally, local solutions. You know, a mom is struggling with morning sickness, she will Google and it will tell her, buy these gumdrops from this fancy shop that doesn't exist on the African continent, whereas we have our local solutions like drink chai mukalu with ginger tea. With ginger in it, you know. So having those local solutions to our issues as women, as new mothers, and as parents. So I see us truly embracing the Africanness that we are and showcasing the different flavors of African motherhood across Africa and across the globe. I know it's cliched, but it's cliched because it's true. You cannot give up, you know. And we were having a conversation with my teammates, I think it was either yesterday, and I was telling them there's no bad idea, or every idea is bad. Let me switch it around. Every business idea is bad. Your idea is bad. But the thing is that you have to figure out what makes it bad and how can I make it less bad, right? So as you keep moving, so let's say my idea started with helping mothers, all mothers across the planet. Then you realize that's a bad idea, because how are you going to implement helping all mothers? So how do I make it less bad? Let me look at African mothers. Still, that's too big. So it's still not a great idea. What about in my immediate community of Kampala? How can I help those mothers, right? And then as you keep refining your idea, it becomes, what do these mothers actually need? I want to help them, but what do they need, right? Then you do the research. What do mothers need? They are struggling with ABCD. Okay, in this ABCD, what are the things that I, Nabifo, can do in this ABCD? I can help them go downtown, look for all the sellers of maternity and baby products and categorize them and put them into the different brackets and figure out how I can support mother, you know? So you just keep working the idea. It started from this huge thing of, I want to help all mothers in the universe, right? It comes down, you just keep giving it time. So from a big idea, you break it down to little bite-sized pieces, and from those bite-sized pieces, then the idea can now grow again to as big as it needs to be. So all ideas are not great ideas, but it's through not giving up, being consistent, keep testing, keep trying, keep doing your research, that the idea grows and it refines itself and it finds its legs, and eventually it will find its wings and it will fly. So stay persistent, stay focused, stay consistent. Thank you for visiting Uzazi. You're welcome anytime. And when you become parents, we are here waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. We are keeping your chair warm.
Well, you've heard Wamunga's story and how she overcome her fears and difficulties to put up her enterprise, Uzazi. Well, I hope you've borrowed a leaf or two that you can also use. Unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show, and if you liked this program, please subscribe on our YouTube channel at CBM TV. And to get more exciting programs like this one, please, you can follow us on all our social media handles at CBM TV. Well, I've been your host, Mutunja Isaac. Catch me on the next episode. Until then, ciao. CBM TV, all around, everywhere. Catch the moment.